Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what it is like to date as a therapist. I think this is a topic worth chatting about because being a therapist kind of creates some interesting dynamics when dating or when looking on dating apps, and I want to get into some specifics. There's some things I want you to think about if you are thinking about becoming a therapist, or if you're just curious, or maybe you already are a therapist and you are navigating this strange situation currently. So if that sounds of interest to you, please keep watching. Hi, my name is Alyssa Powers, and I created this YouTube channel to teach you the things that grad school didn't so you can thrive as a mental health professional. Now, this is something they definitely do not teach you in grad school, and things have changed so much with dating since dating apps have become a thing, but I have seen so many therapists talking about how hard it is to be on the apps because they see their clients on these apps and their clients see them. Now, obviously, there's nothing inherently unethical about your client seeing you on an app, but the thing that makes it weird is you now have to navigate what you are putting on your profile in a way that maybe you wouldn't have if you were not a therapist. I know for therapists that live in small towns, it can be tricky to even go out to popular spots like popular pubs, bars, date locations because they might run into clients, which also not unethical. You just ignore your client and hope that, there's no interaction there. But it kind of creates some just interesting barriers. I think with the apps, the thing you have to think about is, are you okay with a client seeing what you're putting on a dating profile? I have not been in the dating game in like 6 or 7 years, so my experience is out of date. And when I was dating my now husband, I was in grad school. I wasn't already a therapist. So this is just me regurgitating what I've heard from friends that are therapists and conversations I've seen happening on the internet. But I think specifically if you live in a small town, a small community, or if you are a part of a small community of people, like I know I have seen therapists that are polyamorous talking about how hard it has been to find partners because they work with clients that are also polyamorous, and then they themselves are polyamorous, and that's like a smaller community, or different like LGBTQ kind of subsets. Like a lot of people that are LGBTQ are also working with LGBTQ clients because that's a passion of theirs, and then they're seeing their clients in these communities. So I think it can be great to actually put a disclaimer out if you are dating and you know that you're working with a demographic that you could potentially come across on a dating app or out at the bars or whatever. I think it can be great to just put a little caveat out there that says something like, I'm never going to add you on social media. I'm never going to come up to you if I see you out in public. It's nothing to do with, you. It's to protect you and your confidentiality, and just go over those policies and you could say something specific to a dating app, I suppose, if you wanted to, but I would just make it really clear, like, here's what's going to happen. We're not going to interact. And that's all you need to know. I know in grad school, I don't know if this statistic is still true. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you're in grad school right now and you've talked about this, but they told us the number one reason that therapists lose their license is from having sex with their clients. So like, clearly there are therapists out there that have absolutely horrendous boundaries and get into these entanglements and relationships and, you know, get their license taken away, which is really horrible to take advantage of clients like that because they're in a vulnerable state. And that's not what this video is about. But I'm just saying, like, you need to think about how you're going to have boundaries with your clients if you are dating. So I think putting it out there that, like, I'm not going to interact with you outside of this session. And maybe you can say, like, I'll smile or something. But I personally am completely remote, so I don't really see my clients out because we just don't have that shared commonality in location. But when I worked in an office, I worked in a downtown, and I would see clients all the time walking around the downtown. And so I had to say, like, hey, if you ever see me, like, I'll smile, you know, whatever, but I'm not gonna come up and talk to you. This isn't like free therapy on the street. So there's that element of it, that you are putting yourself out there and potentially your clients are going to see that, and you need to be comfortable with that. And then the other thing that I think is really interesting about dating as a therapist is that some people are intimidated by therapists in the dating realm. They'll say things like, oh, are you gonna psychoanalyze me? Oh, are you gonna try and change me? Oh, are you gonna, you know, whatever, try and give me advice? I think that that's probably a red flag within itself if someone feels threatened by the fact that you are a therapist. But yeah, I think that a lot of times therapists, there's a joke like, what fake profession are we gonna tell the people on the plane next to us so they don't just like trauma dump on us the whole time? Can I just say, there was a time that I sat on a very small plane. It was going to Akron, Canton, which is like a small airport. And so they were like 2-seaters, and I was like right up at the front, and I sat next to this guy that was like a war veteran, and he talked to me the entire flight. He was very sweet, and he had a therapy cat, and I know his entire life story now, but that's why people make things up. They say like, I'm an accountant, or I'm, you know, something very straightforward that no one would ask a follow-up question to, because therapists then just get dumped on. So I think as therapists, we want partners that are gonna ask about us, that we're not gonna have to analyze. I mean, we're always gonna analyze. I think even people that aren't therapists, when they're dating, are analyzing their potential partner, because you just do that, right? But I think you wanna be with someone that's not threatened by the fact that you are a therapist and that you take care of your mental health and that you are highly qualified to give mental health input and advice. I don't like the word advice, but you know, it is what it is. Like, we are people too, and we deserve love. And even though I'm not on dating apps, and hopefully will never be on a dating app again, I completely understand why this would be so difficult to navigate, because I think there's always just that fear of being judged. And I feel like the essence of dating is putting yourself out there. So if you're putting yourself out there and then you're thinking in the back of your head like, oh, well, I don't want a client to see these certain things, like you feel like you can't completely be yourself. But at the end of the day, I think you have to choose yourself. You can't control what clients think of you. And as long as you're acting in alignment with your values and you're not crossing any ethical boundaries with your clients, I think it's all good. So I really would love it if this became a conversation below in the comments. I want to know, what's your experience been dating as a therapist, or maybe you are wanting to become a therapist and you're thinking about dating, or maybe you are a part of like one of those smaller groups that I was talking about and you think it might be tricky. I just want to know what your thoughts are. Or maybe I'm thinking too hard about all of this and no one will relate to it. I don't know. But if you like this video, please subscribe. It helps my channel so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.